Well, the goal has always been to make this look more like this. And yes, while I don't pay my artist very well, I think my artist did a rather good job designing this t-shirt. I might make a video about how I did that sometime. It's a long process, but it worked for me. So I'm going to take the next step in making this look a little bit more like what I've put on a shirt here. And would you look at that? Just happen to have that laying around. This isn't really going to be one of those how-to videos because I don't really know how to. This is just how I did it and kind of winging my way through doing body panels again. But I think it'll work. Now I've got a lot of welding to do. A lot of welding to do. So much fun. All right, finally getting around to doing this part of the door where it blends into the rear quarter panel. How you do this, I really don't have any idea, but I'm going to try to do it again. The fun part of this is this line is straight to here, but if you continue this line perfectly straight, it'll end up hitting way up there somewhere. So this has to have a little bit of a curve going in as you curve it around this way, and when you do that, things change shape, then you have to shrink, stretch, etc., etc. And well, I managed to make this one. I'm going to stop right here on this one and start making the other one. That way, as I make mistakes, I can correct both of them to look the same. I hope. Let's see what happens. So we will welcome to center stage my garage door opener powered bead roller. I've got a soft roller on the bottom and a narrow rounding die. I don't know the technology, all this stuff. I just use it and see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that right down this to make the curve this way. The dotted line right there is the perfectly straight line down the center of this sheet metal panel. And the other line next to it, the more solid line, that's the line I'm going to follow to get the curve in it that I want. So it'll curve inward as it goes forward, I hope. See what happens. Let's see, that's going to be the top piece. That's the flat part. Let's start going this way. All right, I'm going to start on this side of it, and I'm going to roll it a little bit here, and then move over, roll it a little bit, move over, roll it again. That way I can just keep this edge coming up. The problem with doing it this way, and it's the only way I've got to make a curved curve that curves. Anyway, it's the only way I've got to do it. And the problem with doing it this way is as you get to the bottom, coming to the inside edge of it, it's holding this flat underneath of here, and it tends to buckle this a little bit, makes it curve this way and then that way. So I have to flatten that back out with hammer and dolly, whatever. But I got it on the first one. I might be able to get it on the second one. Power on. How much pressure do I want on that? Probably enough. Do that about 6 more times and see what happens. Looks like it's got a little curve to it. Well, we've had a little bit of a thermal overload after about 4 or 5 passes across this. The garage door opener decided to shut down. I do have, as you can see, vents cut in the side of it and an electric cooling fan in there, but I need to work on that a little bit. We're back and running again, all right. It only takes a minute or two for it to cool down, but yeah, need to work on that a little bit. For now, a booster fan might help, I don't know. As you can tell, we're making a bit of progress. And a little bit of a test fit. Looks like we've got about the right amount of curve in it. We're gonna have to flatten this out just a little bit, like I said before. That little part right there. But it's off to a good start. It seems to have the right angle from here to here. We'll have to check that with a straight edge across there. Most of the time when you're doing stuff like this, you need at least 2 extra hands, but you never have them, so. Huh, very interesting. It looks, it's a little gapped right there, and it's against here, and it's following it all the way there, so it looks like I got a little more curve than I need in it. Again, the first one was way too much curve. So for right now, I'm not going to worry about that having just a little bit too much curve. As I flatten this out along here, it may change the shape of this a little bit. I'll work on that later. Right now, I'm just going to take a little bit of this dip out of here on both edges of this and see what happens next. Slide this custom sheet metal working tool underneath here. Guess that'd be better if I worked it the other way over. And I'll just tap away on that. Actually, really need something soft behind it. Don't want to stretch it out right now. I don't want to dent it, I don't want to stretch it out, but I do need to flatten it. Yeah, I can't get into it to hit it with that. So we'll go the original way we were going, and we just won't hit it very hard, and hopefully won't stretch out. If only I could remember how I did the last one when I straightened that out. But it did get straight eventually, somehow. Aha! I remembered what I did. Just got to be careful that I don't go too deep in and straighten out the curve. That flattens it out quite a bit compared to that. All right, let's get on with it. All right, I got it taped up into place, somewhat close. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to check and see that this line right here continues straight across this door, that it doesn't do this or this right when it hits the door. And it's looking pretty good in my opinion. Everything's not perfectly lined up yet. A lot of work left to do, but it's going to work. It has to work. Yeah, this way, not looking so good. Yep. Not looking quite so good going this way. Got a dip in it right here. Curves up right there, so this is going to have to be shrunk a little bit on the bottom edge to pull this in to make it curve down. Fun. Had to do that on the other one too. Well, a sneak peek into the future. That was past me, this is future me, something like that. Anyway, a lot of footage was lost, but once all the shaping's done and all the welding's done, this is what it looks like. I do have some photos that I took with my camera that I'll put into here, show you some of the progress along the way. But I think all in all, it came out looking pretty good. And since future me is here, I can give you a little sneak peek into the fact that I'm working on the bottom fairing here now. And I'm working on the side skirts also. Those are laying over on the table. The angle at the back is having to be changed. They're having to curve out because the car body gets wider. And they were also lengthened a little bit. But progress is progressing. And since a car has two sides, well, most cars have two sides to them, figure we'll shoot this part of it over here on this side. I think the line runs pretty good along here. It's going to be a little bodywork finishing to do on it, but the metal work is there. One other thing I wanted to show is to get this edge round and to make it, to kind of contour it, I guess I would say. I made a little attachment for an air hammer, which is this little dude right here. And that just works like that. Piece of sheet metal lays in between there and you can just kind of walk it up and down and smooth out the roughness, the imperfections, and get the curve exactly where you want it. And I'll give you a little closer look at it. And I thought I'd take a minute to show how this thing works. It has a bolt that holds it together, but there's no pressure on that bolt. When this thing is, the driving force actually hits the back of this little piece of metal right here. So the bolt just kind of holds it all in alignment. And this is able to pivot so that if you're a little bit out of line, you don't bite one end or the other end as you're walking up and down the panel. It will take a flat piece of sheet metal and turn it into a curved piece of sheet metal fairly quickly. I think it does all right. Serves its purpose anyway. Well, that looks like about it for this update. Oh yeah, I got one other thing. After all that work to fix the oil leaks, absolutely no oil leaks. I don't know why. I just feel like doing this. All right, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.